This video is dedicated to my fellow practitioners who want to start up their own spiritual business, specifically focusing on services such as spell work or readings. We've all seen it in some point in time where a practitioner gets called out for whatever reason it is, and typically those practitioners are asked to take a step back from their services, to close shop. Because if your energy and your mind is acting a fool, you're not going to be able to show up for your clients. And not only are you not going to be able to give them results that you need, but you can actually butcher the results. You can butcher the working and make it so much more worse for the client. More worse than not giving them a result to begin with. Typically, when something like this starts happening and a practitioner starts slipping up, people start to ask them to take a step back from their services, to close shop, like I said. And the biggest argument that I see from practitioners on why they are not able to do that is because that those same services are what's paying their bills. If they close shop, they're not going to be able to afford next month's rent. And I totally get that. I totally understand that. So how do you avoid this as a spiritual business person? Because no matter who you are, no matter how good your energy is, there's going to be times that you get sick. There's going to be times that shit happens in your life, and you are going to have to take a step back from services. You're not always going to be able to show up. So how are you going to be able to take a step back and still afford to pay your bills? Here's the problem that most business practitioners in the spiritual community have or challenge. Offering services is a beautiful, wonderful thing. I do it myself. But you cannot rely solely on services to run your spiritual business because of those specific times that you do need to take a step back. You're not able to force yourself to show up when you're not able to. And if you try to do that, like I said, that can be dangerous for your clients. So don't do that shit. So how do you resolve this issue and still pay your bills? When it comes to setting up your spiritual business, you need to have some sort of passive income. If you don't know what passive income is, it's more of a hands-off form of income. Something that doesn't require you to show up in order to cash out, such as monetizing your content, having some kind of subscription-based platform like a Patreon, selling one-time classes that people can check out on your website that you don't need to interact with, selling a book, selling products, things that aren't going to require your spiritual energy. Because like I said, if you are starting out in your spiritual business and you only have plans to do services, you are setting yourself up for failure specifically because of those times that you will have to take a step back. Because that always happens to every practitioner one way or another, whether it's your life situations, whether it's because you found out that you really messed up in your practice, whether it's because you're just mentally not in a good place, or you got sick. Whatever it is, there's no excuse to pushing yourself through those things in order to provide services. Because like I said, there's a lack of safety there. It's not just about not giving results to your clients. It's about really messing things up, butchering their services that you are providing them. If you set yourself up with a passive income, you're able to take that time off. If you set yourself up with that passive income, you're able to take those steps back that you need, which is so important beyond just people pushing you off of the app because you made mistakes. It also goes on to spiritual burnout and trying to avoid spiritual burnout, which is a thing. A passive income is going to be able to help you prevent that shit, because then you are setting yourself up to be able to take those times off. But you're not going to be able to do that without some sort of passive income. And no, you're not going to be able to generate this passive income right when you start your spiritual business. But working on that over time while setting up your business is very, very important. And establishing some kind of foundation or safety net to fall back on for when you can't show up is very important. So then the next time that you do need to take a step back from services, you do not have to worry about getting kicked out of your house. You don't have to worry about not being able to pay your bills. Because, like I said, if you only have services, that is your only source of income, you are setting yourself up for failure, one way or another. I am someone who primarily focuses on services as my main source of income. Keyword, main source. You need to have secondary sources of income. And no, you're not going to have that right off the bat, because that's something that you have to build up over time. So find out what works for you. That doesn't have to be a Patreon. It doesn't have to be monetizing your content, because that shit's hard, especially on TikTok. Like, we don't get paid shit for our content. Find what works best for you in your business, your safety net, something that you can fall back on. And then you won't be one of the ones that are caught in the position, getting held accountable by all these other practitioners, forcing you to close shop. Because you won't have to be worried about it. You won't have to be worried about not being able to pay your bills because you have something, that safety net, that sets you up so that you are able to take that time off. Because like I said, that time off is so important. And every single practitioner that sells some kind of service, whether it's spell work, whether it's tarot, whether it's mediumship, we're all doing that. We all need our times off. We all need to take a step back because we need to recharge. You're not going to be able to run on an empty battery. How far do you think that's going to get you? So set yourself up to avoid that situation entirely. And as much as you are focusing on your services, also focus on building some kind of foundation that you get to have a sense of safety on. And it will truly help you avoid that crisis of taking a step back and closing shop. Like I said, focus on your passive income.